Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your final match of the day. It's No Tidehunter versus Absolute Legends Dreamhack quarterfinals action coming your way. This is a best out of three. I am not alone. I do have a co-caster, and he is one of the best captains in North America and possibly, some would argue, in Europe. He's fluffing stuff. Last seen playing for the A team. Before that, of course, captaining Complexity at the International 2, and it is his very first cast. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing alright.
So, as we look at this game, No Tidehunter versus Absolute Legends, do you have a favorite? Do you have any sort of, do you have a dog in this race? Is there a team you think is going to have the edge going into it?
In my opinion, I think No Tidehunter is the stronger team here. AL has had a couple roster shifts, and they're kind of hot and cold, but NTH seems to have a solid foundation, and they've been practicing really hard over the past couple of months.
Well, speaking of solid foundations, let's dive into this. This is game number one for anyone just tuning in. This is a best out of three. Our bracket's not fully updated, of course, because Fnatic did win their last match. So Fnatic waiting for the winner of EG versus Na'Vi. That match is on the main stream, twitch.tv/DreamhackDota. Everyone should be watching that. But if you want to watch this one, it is going to be, I mean, for me, No Tidehunter is one of the most interesting storylines coming into this game. They're a team that sort of came out of nowhere. Eternal Envy actually made a big post on Team Liquid in the forums where he said he was considering putting his studies on hold, possibly even quitting school to try Dota full time. And a lot of people hated him. A lot of people, or hated on him, said it wasn't going to work, said it was foolish. I think I even saw some threads on NA Dota to that effect. But he's proved the haters wrong. He's in the Dreamhack quarterfinals, and that's not something many players can say.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Eternal Envy's put a lot of effort into this, and I admire that. He's taking kind of a similar route to the one that I took. So I'm definitely proud of him being a North American player as well.
Yeah, and you know, you're a player who I guess is sort of in the same boat to a certain extent. Like, you didn't make a big Team Liquid thread, you know, saying, I might quit school to play Dota full-time, but you were a competitive player on some level for a long time before you finally broke through the scene, so I guess in that sense, you two share a bit of a kinship. Well, let's look at this draft. Let's talk a little bit about what both teams are doing. I think the one thing that stands out for me is, well, actually two things. No Tidehunter gets some big signature heroes. They get the Lotus Fen, which they've just been picking up constantly. They don't get the Mag to combo with it, which we've seen S4 play a lot as solo mid. They also get the Admiral Bulldog Lone Druid. I have to ask you, do you think Lone Druid is worth a ban when you're playing against No Tidehunter?
I actually think it's pretty good, but now there's heroes like Magnus that are getting picked a lot, and he's really overpowered. Or, if not overpowered, he's a bit extreme. His skill range is just kind of too strong at the moment, but yeah, Admiral Bulldog is really good at Lone Druid. Being a support against him in games, I kind of have trouble keeping him down. He knows these little tricks, he practices a lot, so it might be worth the ban. But the bigger thing to me is the Sven pick. I think Loda is really great at farming, and this team loves stacking. It's perfect for the way that Loda likes to play. So I think that's really dangerous. But the big trade here was the Batrider on Absolute Legends. Some teams don't want to face that, but it seems like No Tidehunter, I've seen them play against it before. They might go for like a bench pick or something. It's pretty good for counter-initiating the ultimate.
The one thing I'm wondering about with the Bat pick is they combo with Bounty Hunter and Enigma. It's a lot of single target. It's a lot of, well, fairly squishy heroes that need to be in the middle of a fight. Batrider, obviously, you have to be all over the enemy team to do the flame, to get the lasso off, then to do the Firefly damage. In theory, you can kite, but Surge is kind of there to answer that. And Bounty Hunter, a melee hero, you can spam track, sit on the periphery to some extent, but this lineup a bit squishy, and then Enigma, well, he's also squishy. The one thing he gives them is a good farmer. A Bounty Hunter pick in this situation, I guess he'll get some farm against Sven. And No Tidehunter, it looks like a Jungle Darkseer, an off-lane Lone Druid, a safe lane Sven. So they don't have their mid. They don't have a support for that Sven. And interesting, those lanes kind of, it seems like those are going to be lanes. They could do other things, but we don't really see them run a safe lane Lone Druid too often. We don't see them run an aggressive Sven, really. For the most part, No Tidehunters play it as more of a farmer.
Right, yeah. But the good thing to note about Absolute Legends lineup is that they have a lot of ways to deal with Sven. You know, Track gives their team the ability to kite him around with the extra move speed. Bad Rider has an ulti that goes through BKB. Enigma is extremely hard for melee heroes to get into fights with. I think they have good heroes to deal with it. Now they just need to pick up a good carry, and I think it'll be pretty even on that in that regard.
You know, you mentioned creep stacking. You mentioned a lineup that likes to get low to big. Well, here's a hero who also can benefit from that. It's Keeper of the Light. This will be Ake's hero. He's been playing that hard support role. The one thing I dislike about No Tidehunter is we don't get to see Ake on a signature jungle heroes. Personally, one of I think the most exciting things to watch in Dota is a really well played Chen or an Enchantress, just any of those junglers that require a lot of micro. But I mean, the Keeper of the Light, it fits their style. Their team that no Tidehunter, they like to take games late. They don't really try. Sure, they'll push if they have the advantage, but they always pick these lineups that scale really well into the late game and also hold on to their outer towers. How can Absolute Legends kind of deal with that?
Well, on the note of the junglers, the reason why we don't see junglers right now is because the mid game escalates so quickly with these carries that really have like they shine in the mid game compared to the older heroes that needed a lot more time. So you could abuse the mid game with these early pushes. Now people are picking more team fight oriented, more mid game strats. So these junglers are kind of losing their prime a lot quicker. But it seems right now like this Bane pick, Absolute Legends is really trying hard to counter this Sven, but it might not work out well for them because I think they're putting too many eggs in one basket. They still have to worry about a lone druid here.
Right.
This bear is going to run around, and if they don't coordinate their spells correctly, like if they don't know who's using what spell on to control Sven in the team fights, like they stack lasso, black hole, and grip, it'll be trouble for them because there's a lot more to this team than just Sven.
It's not like that game we saw earlier where you have just so many redundant, massive AoE ults that go through BKBs where you can blow a black hole in one or two. That's okay because Ravage is there and then the mag ult to follow. They got to be a little more selective and careful about how they use these.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
This Venge pick is big.
Well, before you talk about it, because some people can't hear you in-game, so I want to double-check the audio settings. Do you see that green bar moving when you talk in your Dota audio settings?
Green bar? Yeah, I do. I think I need to lower the threshold or something.
Maybe lower the threshold. Try turning Enable Open Mic off and then on again. That also sometimes fixes it.
Okay.
Okay, so assuming you've done that, you're saying the Venge pick is big.
Yeah, it's big. I've seen them pick this hero in the earlier set. I forgot which team it was. I think it was NTH versus EG, where Demon was Bad Rider. I think Absolute Legends should have studied their opponent more because it was pretty obvious Venge would be the pick here. In that game, I remember Loda was Luna, and Eternal Envy was just stacking constantly with Venge, and they kind of just used her as an ultimate for the Bad Rider, canceling Demon's lassos. It's really effective versus that hero. I think it would have been a better ban than whatever they had right there.
Yeah, I could actually check the. If you want, you can look at the stream and see what they banned. That might have been missed, but hey, I'll go for another single target kind of hero in the Mirana, who sure she's got a little bit of AoE with Starfall, but mostly it's about the double proc there and the arrow. This is I guess it kind of fits AL's style. They're a pretty aggressive team when you have players like Bambo, Sony, even and Come With Me. I mean, he is very aggressive as far as support players go. It's so much single target. I feel like come mid game, if they're not ahead, they're pretty much. This is like a one-trick pony of a team.
It feels like AL's trying to go for this more like aggressive, gank them while they're down. Like they have to succeed in the mid game. They have to succeed in the early game. I'm not sure how they're going to pull this off, but that seems to be their strategy here. Whereas NTH can kind of take this at their own pace. They can, pick the fights they want. They can just stack the entire game and just play defensive. So we have to see AL playing a really nice aggressive game here, where I feel like NTH will have the advantage in the late game.
Is it just me, or does the draft feel like they're trying to accomplish a lot of different things at once? Like they have the bounty hunter, an offlane kind of ganking here. You've got a lot of heroes that want to gank, but then you pick the Enigma, who's just not going to get you those early kills. I mean, he'll help you around that 5-6 minute mark if you want to push the lane, but they don't have a hero in the safe lane that's really good at pushing. I feel like this lineup wants to do like 3 or 4 different things, but it's not really excelling at one thing. And I feel like that's going to be trouble versus no Tidehunter.
Right, exactly my thoughts. I mean, Enigma traditionally like a team fight hero, like 5-man hero even with the mech, not necessarily used for the ultimate. But in this kind of lineup, it doesn't seem like they want to team fight at all. It seems like they just want to gank. So we'll have to see.
What do you... So I guess Sexy Bambo's been playing some mid for the team. Freezer's been the offlane. We know the Bounty Hunter's going to be there. That's sort of expected. It could be killed by no Tidehunter. They're going to have the safe lane Sven, probably Venge roaming around. Well, she'll be there at some point doing some pulling, and they have the damage to bring him down. But an offlane Bounty Hunter, a jungle Enigma with Come With Me, and then I guess a solo mid Batrider and a dual lane Mirana. On paper, Bane plus Mirana seems nice, right? Because you can sleep, that sets up your arrow. It's a pretty good chain stun. But this is Lone Druid. I mean, this is Bulldog. He's not going to be in a position where he's going to get slept easily, so I don't... And if they're not getting kills, like, what's plan B for Bane? I feel like... I guess he can maybe smoke row mid, but Bane's not really the best, like, early game smoke anchor. And, well, maybe they're not doing that with the lanes. Or no, Come With Me just looking to deny a creep. So, let's introduce the players real quickly. Freezer on the Bounty Hunter, Come With Me on the Enigma, Mania on the Bane. Sad to see Mania not playing his Earthshaker or Sand King anymore. Sony Ace on the Mirana, and Sexy Bambo on the Batrider. Over on the side of no Tidehunter, we have S4, who's been playing... He had a really Woe-Dota-esque moment with a body block in a throne race versus... Actually, versus this AL team, I think. I think it was these two teams playing. That was with a Wisp Sven trying to get the throne. There was some crazy stuff going on in that game. Bulldog playing the Tidehunter, Loda on the Sven. Then the offlane, Eternal Envy and Ake. Maybe are they trying to play some mind games with the lanes here, not sending Bulldog bottom?
Perhaps, yeah. But one thing that I wanted to note about the Bane pick versus the Lone Druid offlane is that you can sleep the bear and then the creeps will stop aggroing it, and then the lane will just resume as normal compared to the Bulldog likes to play it. Yeah, he likes to... You know how he likes to creep skip and drag the creeps to him so he can see experience? Bane's actually pretty good at denying that. So, in that way it works out for them, but it doesn't look like he's actually going bottom, so maybe NTH kind of... Knowing that Admiral Bulldog probably has faced that a couple times, he probably knows. Or maybe that was their plan to begin with, but I think this is a good move by NTH to go offensive. It's a little uncharacteristic as well, because usually you see them go short lane, usually you see Loda get the free farm. But I think this actually works out well for them, because Enigma is not going to contribute very much to this tri lane. He's just going to have to farm, and Ale is going to have to play passive here. And the good thing about Sven's Stormbolt is that it'll follow leap, so even if he gets the leap, he's going to get stunned, and there's going to be the follow-up. But the good thing about this lineup is that, you know, Potom and Bane can play pretty defensive. They have these innate defense abilities, so maybe it'll make it a little hard for NTH to go on them, play aggressive, and maybe mess up.
I guess the one concern is they have good... You have leap, like you mentioned. Stormbolt will follow that. You have sleep. It's all single target, though. There's no twin-headed dragon who's sort of been the premier defensive, you know, dual lane hero when you're up against aggressive tri-lanes. There's no Earthshaker. There's not really any defensive specialists. It's just heroes who can sort of, you know, do it in a pinch. But I wonder if it'll be enough in this lane. And it looks like they are offensive tri-lane, and Eternal Envy will breach the high ground. They actually...
Right.
Now Magic Bush warding. Expecting that Enigma to be in the jungle, and this is going to make it... I mean, what can Come With Me can't really help this lane too much, especially with these camps being killed off.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they have any counter wards. You know, actually they have it on Bane, but it doesn't. They won't know for a while. They won't know until Enigma actually walks in there and says, "Hey, my camps are blocked." But you can see from Ale, right? They warded the Ancients. They anticipated that the Ale was going to go short lane, so maybe this...
Right.
They didn't see this coming, and that might be a problem for them because they might have not prepared in the right way.
Right, it looks like they did anticipate the lanes, because like that's something we see from Lone Druid, is he'll just go farm the Ancients. And even at level 1, he can start to work on them with the Bear. Later on, you could stack them, that's something Loda can farm, even if the Lone Druid's not getting that far ahead. Bulldog, free farm safe lane for him so far, 7-0 already. And this is just a matchup Bounty Hunter can't really do much. It's okay now, but especially once Bulldog hits 5, he can just kill him easily. And I guess the one other matchup we haven't really looked at is the solo Darkseer. I really feel like this is an annoying hero for Batrider. You can't actually kill him. Oh, bottom lane. Sony Ace, this is going to be our first blood. Gets picked off. Eternal Envy snipes it, and Mirana... Leap was on cooldown, and like you said, the Stormbolt will follow her. As soon as that support leaves the lane, they jump. And that's the power of having those aggressive wards. The camp can't even be pulled anyway. I don't think they can be pulling in this lane. If they're pulling, that Mirana is just on an island, and she can't handle the pressure.
Well, I think that they need to counter this as soon as possible. He needed to counter this ward to get the pull up because this lane's not going to accomplish anything. Even if Bane's in the lane, he has to just play really passively because they have Enigma as their support and they have to get the levels. If they can get the level advantage through pulls, then I consider that a one lane in this circumstance. But the problem is that like DS can handle bad pretty well middle, and Silver is going to crush Bounty Hunter in this lane. So while AL's hard carry is getting like an okay time, NTH has two carries farming up. So I think the mid game is going to be in NTH's favor, which is where AL's supposed to shine.
Right, they're supposed to shine before No Time Hunter starts 5-manning, before they have the Death Ball, basically. And the lane's also pushing, which means a lot of experience for this tri-lane. That's the one issue with not having the pull. And, well, it's one of the issues anyway. It seems like there's a few. Mid lane, Bambo wants to be aggressive, but we're seeing one of the sort of weaknesses of Batrider. Sure, he's a ranged hero, but it's relatively low range. He's actually getting out-harassed. Darkseer, such a pain in the butt. I feel like No Tidehunter, it wasn't just the draft that was smart, but they completely predicted everything AO wanted to do in the lanes, and AO weren't prepared for this. Is there a plan B? Can they switch out of these lanes? Do they want to make a swap? Like, what do you think they should do now?
Well, I think if they wanted to make a swap, they would have had to have this, like, have the idea that they might go offensive, like, in mind already. The swap should have happened within the first 2 minutes, so right now it's a little bit too late. They just have to roll with the punches right now. Hope NTH makes some mistakes. It's still possible. Because I don't think they're a team that plays aggressive too much. They like to play their farming game, so maybe they can catch them out of their element, come back in the mid game with these ultis.
Speaking of that, Eternal Envy, there's your... Oh, what a play by Ake! Juggles the sleep to ensure that that arrow combo won't work. And this is what happens when you have multiple heroes in the lane. And you can even juggle it with the Spirit Bear as well. So even if it was Bulldog, it's not necessarily a reliable combo, but No Tidehunter showing that that's a bit gimmicky and they have an answer for it. You know, the other thing about the offlane Bounty Hunter is he's not really good at stopping pushes, and Bulldog, not too much pressure, but he can start to push this lane. Tranquil Boot's already picked up. Look at the aggression from him. Just way past the tower, and there's no bailout in sight because they're running an offensive tri-lane on the other side of the map. If any of these supports leave that tri-lane, like if, say, Bane wants to go help Bounty, then, you know, the Mirana's going to die. So I just feel like No Tidehunter, really everything about these lanes is working in their favor. Although Bulldog needs an entangle, isn't getting one yet. Now he's going to body block himself in. Maybe to use the Tranquil Boots. Nope, they're disarmed. Freezer giving chase. Well, Freezer gets a little bit of harass out, but it's still Bulldog farming. It's still Darkseer winning mid lane. It's tough right now for AL.
Yeah, well, Freezer's actually farming pretty well. I know Boba really admires Freezer. He talks him up pretty big. It's showing right now. He's having comparable farm to the Lone Druid right now, so maybe not a complete and total loss.
Really?
And they can use his ultimate to get some ganks. So actually, he got rooted right now. Let's see if he dies. No.
So Venge just suicided to Ancients. I'm not sure if he just wanted a free fountain trip. I think he did, though. Because Eternal Envy comes back with no money left. So I guess just wanted to get a free fountain trip.
Well, around this level, it's okay to do that. It's okay to die to neutrals when you're around like level 1 or 2 because you'll just respawn back up. It's better than walking back to base. Just buy your items, go die to a neutral, no shame. It just affects your score or whatever.
Well, maybe a little bit of shame, like you said, as far as the scoreboard goes. But hey, it's a free fountain trip, and if you want to win these games, you can't have any ego.
Yeah.
So he's
exactly
stacking the Ancients now. This is, I guess the one thing is Loda isn't getting that many levels. Well, he's level 4, actually, more... I guess this is because Eternal Envy's been out of the lane, so he's getting a bit more experience than he otherwise would.
Yeah, I think that's the right move by him. I think he doesn't actually need to be there. He needs to give these levels to Loda. I've actually seen Loda come back from games just purely on Ancient stacks, even when he's had like the worst games possible, even on short lane. So with this kind of advantage right now, he's getting decent farm in lane. They're stacking immediately. He's going to be a powerhouse.
S4, level 7 already, and the nice thing about this... Wow, look at that clever play, searching in his own illusion with an ion shell. Oh man, that is some next level play from S4. Doesn't quite get the kill of Bambo, but Bambo is not having fun in this lane. I mean, my god. Maybe this is the secret weapon to deal with the Batrider. Smoked up, come with me. He's going to leave his own jungle. I wonder if he just feels unsafe, or maybe... I think this just got to put some pressure on Bulldog. Unfortunately, Bulldog's already 6. This is not an easy kill.
Right. Yeah, this is probably what they need to do earlier. Now that I come to think of it, Enigma does need to put pressure on this lane, and
Uh-oh.
he definitely could have. But now that he's level 6, it's difficult. Yeah, he missed the kill right there. It probably wouldn't have. Oh my god.
Dead entangle. Are you serious? That is a
Good
bulldog.
luck. I think Come With Me is still gonna end up dying here.
Oh, bulldog might even. Well, he's gonna get at least the one kill. The bear resummoned, or rather pulled back in, recalled to him. Wow.
Yeah.
Black hole, a smoke invested as well. That is some massive economic
They're making
damage.
a play on bottom lane.
Yeah, they want to go on Sony Ace. He'll be able to leap away. But they're also going to be able to push this tower. The Keeper of the Light brings the creep wave down quickly. Also, S4 can creep skip. And what's the response from Batrider? He can't really push the lane. He can kill a creep wave. He's not pushing the tower. So I feel like no Titan are just... They've identified every single weakness in AL from their lanes to their hero composition. And they're just poking holes in it all over the place. Plus, hey, you got Bulldog luck on the lone druid. That doesn't hurt neither.
Yeah. What I was talking about earlier is that now that Lone Druid's level 6, it's way too hard to gank him. He has way too much, base HP for Enigma to even harass him down. I think if Enigma rotated up there a lot quicker, because he couldn't do anything bottom, that would have been able to even it out a little bit, shut him down, and give Freezer some snowball potential.
The big concern is that Enigma even used a black hole, and that's something they probably want when Sven starts to dive towers once he gets, say, level 7, 8, and, well, it might just be up by then. Bambo, Blink Dagger's not too far off. I just feel like no Titan have so many... You mentioned the swap, which isn't going to be there for a while, because it's only level 3 Venge, but I feel like the Blink on a Batrider this game isn't as broken, or isn't as game-breaking as it can be with other lineups, because you've also got Surge. They have a couple of ways to really get their team out of jail when that Batrider Lasso does come in. Oh, Loda taking some damage mid, but I don't think they can actually get this kill.
Yeah, it seems like Gale's kind of at a loss right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice Illuminate.
That was sick.
Nice combo.
That was sick.
But probably an overextension by Freezer.
Yeah, it's what you talked about, Dale. They're a very aggressive lineup. Bambo will Firefly. We'll be okay. So far, too early to see if we're going to see some early points in that Vengeance Aura. They do have a bit of a push potential. This is what seems to happen a lot with no Tidehunter, is either, like you mentioned, they have the 2 carries who are getting farmed. It's just the players as well. Like, it always seems like either Bulldog or Loda is getting a lot of farm, and, well, when you see that happen, you really have to credit the other 3 players for creating that space, but Bulldog 51 CS, even Loda, not getting out of control by any means, but 37 CS in an offensive tri-lane, where there's been some pulling, where he hasn't really had free farm. They're both getting farm, and this is... I don't know how AL respond to this. They don't have the Blink yet. Bounty Hunter's level 7, but he just overextended and died. The Black Hole's coming off cooldown soon. I really feel baffled at this point.
Yeah, and we can definitely see that AL's feeling the same way. They don't know where to go, they don't know where to find the openings, and it's only going to get bigger once they farm that Ancient stack. And you say that Venge is a low level right now, but what you're going to see is he's just going to stand behind Loda when he kills those Ancients, and all of a sudden he's going to get a lot of experience real fast. So that's what they only need him for a swap, because none of his skills matter at this point.
Right, if he can live later on and give the Vengeance Aura, that's nice, but it's not... The team's not built around that. It's just an added bonus, basically.
Right.
Well, bottom lane, the tower, under siege, being brought down slowly. Ake hitting level 5, and they could also even be stacking up some of these other camps, which it looks like... No, we haven't seen too much of that, but I guess that's the one downside. You can't abuse that Keeper of the Light farming big camps, but with the Ancients, it's another way to get the farm. Bambo diving mid, lasso onto S4. This actually looks rather bad for Bambo. Oh, maybe not the Flame Break, bringing S4 low, just unable to get the kill. That's Batrider and his burst damage for you, but doesn't find it. And another ult wasted unsuccessfully now on the bottom lane where Sony Ace. Oh, the missed timing there. Sleeps Loda right as the Starfall gets cast. Then they back off. So another failed gank attempt. They are just misfiring on every single kill attempt this game.
It's really difficult. But the mid gank was pretty, it could have happened pretty easily, but I think he just got the angle on the Flame Break incorrectly. Oh, nice arrow.
Oh, Loda. You're not getting out of this one, buddy. And he will fall. Yeah, like you're saying, if he had Flame Breaked him back in towards himself, he could have picked up the kill, but
yeah,
couldn't quite find the angle.
Slightly out of the Firefly. some sort of hope here is that Mania is actually going to hit level 6 soon, and that ultimate may be the key to find a little bit of an opening here for a comeback.
Right, and
It's
especially
such a great ganking utility.
And especially with track, but we're seeing sort of a vulnerability in the lanes where every time Freezer leaves the lane, Bulldog just starts pushing. He's already got a Midas, and I mean, Bounty Hunter can't do much against the push anyway, so it's not that he should necessarily be there, but like, who do they send up there? I don't think they have a hero on AL that can actually lane against Bulldog. Even Batrider struggles at times because if he gets entangled, he's in a lot of trouble. They are going to try to go on Bulldog, but good luck with that. Just like Bear looking to be ganked. I think he's got to resummon. Nope, 17 seconds. So this might be small victory. No, it's gonna live. Oh, come on. Give AL a break. I mean, seriously, this is painful to watch.
Well, another thing to note is that Enigma was actually forced to go into the treads instead of a mech, so you're going to see S4 have a mech, you're going to see NTH have a mech, and that's going to be really difficult to teamfight against if they just want to group up.
You mentioned the ult for Mania, but the Illuminate is doing huge damage, and the ult just not able to be channeled. There was a magic missile that canceled it. Now S4 dropping low, will fall, but Bambo now on the back foot. In comes the Stormbolt. He's got to get over the tree line, or maybe not. The Chain Stun is here, but the Flames are doing a lot. Bambo down to 70 HP. Will live. Now Loda gets slept.
Eternal Envy dropping on the side to bottom.
Oh, does get picked off in the end, so... Yeah, wow, really got picked off far back.
I feel like that was an overextension right there. They just lost one team member, and AL was reinforcing. They kind of just went in without a plan, I think. That Stormbolt, there was no follow-up for it, so Sony Ace, good job capitalizing on that, picking up Eternal Envy.
The concern for me is Bulldog's still free farming, and they haven't even gotten the Ancients yet. And that's going to give Venture level 6, that's going to give Sven maybe even level 8 or 9. I don't know if he can farm them yet, though. Maybe?
Oh, yeah.
He's
the
close.
stack is massive.
It's a big stack, you're right. Maybe they send the Baron to tank it. That may be what we see from them, and perhaps in that case not for another couple minutes.
I think they're comfortable in the position that Bulldog is right now. They wouldn't want to pull him off. He's going to get his Radiance pretty soon. He's already at 3,200 gold with a Midas, so he's extremely farmed right now.
This is a bit
They're just
filthy.
gonna leave him up here. Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. That's a big track kill. 3 heroes. Come With Me, I think, was out of range, but 3 heroes get track gold there. Is it enough to keep up with Bulldog? Well, I guess the verdict's still out, but gold-wise, Graph says no. It does have a slight dip up, but 3k gold lead on the side of No Tidehunter. And a 2k experience lead for AL. That's the jungle Enigma for you, and the offensive tri-lane, but once those Ancients die, that'll catch them up nicely. Come With Me gets caught vacuum on 3, and the
nice
Stormbolt on 3! Oh, God! Who needs Magnetar?
Just brutal. Brutal.
Holy crap, that was a great combo. Like, that was such good timing. Like, Stormbolt was flying, like, as the vacuum happened. Oh, man. That turns their Stormbolt into, like, a mini reverse polarity. It's kind of disgusting. And now Bulldog's got his Relic. So, 15-minute Relic Midas, Tranquil Boots, 7k net worth. Sven is the second highest farm. He's almost got a BKB. And this is a team that gets better as the game goes along. They're not even at their peak yet.
Yeah. I think a little bit of a miscalculation by AL in this draft. I think first NTH you need to play aggressive. You can't pick defensive and try to outrice them with your Enigma in your jungle, because they do have this option of going offensive, but they're very good at just you know, adapting. And a team like NTH needs to be beaten by something aggressive. If they had like a different support than Enigma, like something that could deal with this tri-lane, they might have been able to put up a fight here.
And now Lotus starts to farm the H-hits. It's, good luck getting aggressive now when he's about to have a BKB. You already have a mech up on the Dark Scene. That's something we talked about is... I mean, they picked aggressive heroes, it just... The lanes weren't really aggressive. Like, they had a bunch of gankers, but then they ran a defensive dual lane with Mirana Bane. They had a Batrider, but he was solo mid against Darkseer. It's not a hero you can kill. They have a Bounty Hunter, who's a big, aggressive ganker, but he's laning against Lone Druid, so... I feel like they did want to be aggressive, but they didn't predict properly how No Tidehunter were going to lane, so they never actually had the openings to make that aggression happen.
And it was a good move by NTH as well. Like, I mean, even I would predict them to go short lane as well. So,
oh yeah, we all
this
expected it.
Adjustment.
I mean, I expected it as well, and if you expected it, then there must be something to it. They're a wily team. I gotta say, I'm feeling like they're more complete every time I watch them. Like they can go aggressive. I agree with you. I think their comfort zone is just that very defensive, not necessarily turtling, but like timing push type play where Loda gets his few core items up, Bulldog gets the the utility items, whatever it is on the off lane, and then they go. But if they can win with this kind of a lineup, that really has to put a little bit of a scare into you on the side of AL. Granted, they haven't won yet, but it's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think Sven's one of the strongest carries in this version right now. If you look at how he scales, you think like BKB, oh, this is an amazing item for Sven. He can go on and go crazy. But once he makes a crit, he becomes a totally different hero. Crit plus his ulti is insane. Every single item that Sven makes just boosts him to the next level. So he's really amazing in that regard.
And he's got a lot more utility than other carries because he's got Warcry. It helps your team chase. It gives them tons of armor. AL not really that. They're not really built to do a ton of physical damage, but that armor is always going to help. So is the move speed, and I mean, it kind of counteracts Track. Track doesn't really do that much for you. Bulldog's got the Radiance up, 18 minutes in. Radiance Midas, I think he's had it for a little bit. Can Bulldog buy a Entangle? Apparently not. He got a lot earlier, not so much now. And, well, is it time to push mid for these guys? No, it's time for S4 to run the hell away. Sony Ace wanting to kill him off, but with the mech not even being used, that kill is not happening. Now Loda comes in, wants to come with me, who just has no items. The courier going to fall in the middle of this. Oh, that is a big mistake. The ult used by Mirana, so unable to get that stun off in the end. It will not actually hit unless you vision. Stormbolt whiffs, but, I mean, the courier kill, that's just more gold for no Tidehunter.
Yeah, well, on the bright side, like, the Stormbolt missed. I think Loda didn't realize that interaction actually occurred, so he actually BKB'd right there, thinking that bottom was stunned.
Oh, Ake gets caught. This is going to be a track kill. Maybe the mech is there, though, and the wall. Bambo barely to live on 100 HP. Even less, actually, 99. Well, they get a track kill on a couple heroes, but I feel like the bigger problem is they're not turning these kills into anything else. They're not getting Roche. They're not getting towers. They're not shutting down core heroes. They're not really I think the Sven's died once, right? But they're not shutting down the Lone Druid at all. It's only one kill on Loda. Like, it's track kills, but it's track kills on a support keeper of the light.
Yeah, and honestly, they can't even push if they wanted to. This Caudle can just defend 5 heroes, and NTH can just farm safely. And if they want to overextend, then they'll TP in and wipe them out. So it's a really interesting position here, and I don't know how AL wants to proceed. And it's not like they can, turtle for anything. Bottom's not going to outcarry Lone Druid or Sven. He probably wouldn't outcarry, just one of those. So, and they have 2, so it's.
And they do have, in theory, like, you talked about not stacking ultimates. I guess on paper they have tons of disables. I'm just not convinced they can kill anyone, even if it's perfectly synchronized chain stun with a full duration fiend script, a lasso that brings a hero under a tower, and a black hole. I feel it, and Lone Druid's probably gonna have an Aegis at some point. So then, like, you can't even rely on that lockdown to get kills. And then what do? I mean, once the lockdown wears off, you just lose the fight.
Yeah, and honestly, when you pick so much single target, it makes team fighting's a lot more difficult. Like, if you're playing Darkseer as opposed to like Batrider and having a Bane, Darkseer you just click on the ground and all of a sudden 5 heroes gonna die. But with this kind of composition, you have to be like, hey Bamboo, you need to grab Sven, you need to black hole the bear, you need to, sleep the bear, whatever. You have to coordinate it so much more than NTH does.
And that's it's something worth bringing up as well, because AL's had some roster changes. They had Vigas, now they have Bambo. They have players from a couple different countries. Nice flame break, driving everyone out of the Roshan pit. What is it? 3 from Romania. I think Mania's from Denmark, and then they have Bambo's from the Netherlands. So sure, they all speak English to some degree, but it's just, it's a team that's undergone some roster changes. It's a team where they haven't all been playing as a 5-man for that long, and like you said, it's a more difficult, tricky lineup to execute. It's kind of a ballet as opposed to, I don't know, just a crypt walk or something. My analogies are failing me here. Save me, Brian.
Well, they have really great players. I think they have a lot of potential. It might just be a new thing.
Oh, this is not the hero you really want to focus first. The black hole placed at the point where they all TP in. Maybe it is. Where's that damage, though? Where is that damage? Mania, nice job holding Loda in position, but unfortunately, there's just no follow-up. And once you focus that BKB Loda, that means Lone Druid on a rampage. Bear, very angry and very full. at the same time. Oh boy. And when you lose a fight to no Tidehunter, they are pushing towers down. I mean, they've got Lone Druid, they've got Keeper of the Light. They might not, I guess AL's a little bit underleveled, so they respawn quickly here, and the fight occurs away from their tower. But nonetheless, yes. If that fight happens a little bit later on this game, I think you lose maybe 2 outer towers to that.
They have no reason to push either. And if they want to be really safe on land, this is their ticket on the way to the grand final. So they might just pace it a little bit slowly here. They didn't choose to take the tier 2. They chose to farm bottom and just regroup. So they're just playing a little bit safe here. I don't think they need to, but it's not a bad idea.
Right, like you said, it's not like AL gets stronger the later this goes. You know, even though they have some of those great late game ultimates, I suppose a nice black hole could help, but Mirana has a Diffusal Blade. Compare that to Lone Druid, who's got, what does he have? A Midas, Assault Cuirass coming soon, and a Radiance. This is a mid-game utility build for Mirana. It's not a hard carry build, and she's not really the best hard carry anyway. S4 wanted to vacuum her onto the high ground, looks like, but wouldn't have accomplished too much anyway. Now surging forward. Oh, is he gonna find anyone? I love this. It's such a race car whenever Darkseer's chasing. Well, they get a blink on Come With Me. And I guess this is what they need, right? They just need, like, the most epic black hole ever. And then maybe they have a shot.
Yeah, they need to do something, like, pretty cute right here. You see Bamboo, he smoked behind their team. He's trying to get a flank right now. Maybe they're going to try to do something. Or it looks like they won't, actually. So it's actually a wasted smoke here from Bamboo, but
I feel like
something here for your support players. You see Eternal Envy, they have a significant advantage right now. He picks up a gem. That's going to give him full map control. And that's extremely scary to play against. Whenever you're ahead, you should always buy a gem on your support hero to just make sure you can just, finish them off, give them the death grip, and just don't allow them to get any vision whatsoever.
Well, they will try to initiate, but they do so after the tower falls. Manny gets focused down, they get vacuumed in. The cleave! The cleave! Sayonara, says no Tidehunter, and this looks to be... Well, do they have buyback? If they do, they're using it now. Let's see. Nobody has buyback, I want to say.
Yeah.
Bane? Nope, this is looking to be a lane of Rex.
And regardless, Enigma doesn't even have Black Hole for 35 seconds, so I don't see what they could do.
I feel like they just sort of gave up with that fight. Like, that was not a good time to engage. Like you said, no Black Hole. They waited for the tower to die, then they go in. Something doesn't add up.
Right, I think that Bamboo was saying to his team maybe, "Oh guys, we gotta do something here. Let's go. I'm gonna smoke around." And their team didn't actually get in a defensive posture. They ended up defending that tower when it was already dead. So I think they just lost their opportunity there to do something, unorthodox.
And that sort of goes into just the players' personalities. Where, I mean, even before that fight happened, like you said, Bambo's trying to smoke gank, trying to backstab. I don't think that works against no Tidehunter. Like, that kind of solo play, I think against a team that groups up less, or maybe, prefers their split pushing more. But no Tidehunter are a team that will group up as 5 at some point, especially when they get the Magnus for S4, which, I mean, the Darkseer is sort of a similar role in that sense, the big AoE clumping initiator. I just don't think that, stereotypical Bambo Dota is going to cut it versus no Tidehunter. It might work against some teams, but it's not really a good matchup. I guess it's the only thing they can do because of the way this game's developed, but if we look towards Game 2, where it seems to be heading the way of no Tidehunter for this one, I feel like they need an entirely different game plan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was the right idea, but unfortunately you can't just do it with one hero. They needed to maybe do like a complexity smoke around, do flank, see if you can pull something out of your ass, but I mean, that solo play wasn't going to accomplish very much because NTH is fully prepared for that in every single way possible. So honestly, I feel like this game's over, and I want to see AL do a more aggressive playstyle next game.
Well, no Tidehunter seem to think this game might be over too, especially with Bulldog having Assault Cuirass, Midas, Radiance, Javelin, working towards probably a Basher. No need to get an MKB. Could go for it, but this is a bulldozer of a. I know you guys have run the TC Lone Druid quite a bit in the past, back in Complexia, and I don't know if I've seen it in A-Team, but this is sort of like the original Tiny. We see Tiny with Aghanims now. We've seen games where you win a fight, you get 3 lanes of Rax. Lone Druid was doing it long before Tiny ever was.
Right. Yeah, it is super difficult to play against.
That's not good for Eternal Envy. Rare mispositioning from him. He'll pay, or maybe not, because this bear is angry and Bambo Oh, feeling a little bit squishy. No, the bear will fall. And that is one thing they got to be concerned about, is the bear resummons. If it's dead, that's what, like 10k worth of net worth down the drain, so they're going to back off.
I mean, it's a small victory. They got the bear and they got NV. I didn't see if he got tracked, but I'm assuming
he did, because the gold graph stopped moving up.
Yeah.
That's how we know.
Well, personally, like, I feel that NTH should try to go for the top tower. I feel like tier 2 mid is the hardest tower to push, just because of the way that it's positioned as opposed to the side lanes. The side lanes is like there's only one flank. There's no high ground issues or anything like that. And I mean, even taking the top racks would be great, because then they have to defend 2 different lanes on different sides.
Yep.
So it looks like they're rotating top. So this might be a good move here.
Yeah, I think this is really... I mean, like, even just reinforcing that top lane, it takes longer to walk all the way from bottom to top. So positionally and sort of from a geographic sense, it seems... It's like it's the weakest point to attack them from that flank. So I really like this rotation. Eternal Envy will get caught out, trying to rejoin his team. AL find another pick. Twice in a row he's gotten caught. That one, though, wasn't a track kill, so not nearly as big of a deal. Like you said, he's not really a core hero as... I mean, he already gave up the gem anyway, so... I feel like they could just fight without him. Do they really need their Venge at this point? I guess it is a kind of an important stun, but they still push pretty damn hard.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even if that Batrider went in and grabbed anyone, he would just get swapped out. So it's like, yeah, I'd use the lasso on the Venge, but it's okay.
This fight's getting real chaotic, and that is maybe... No! Vacuum cancels the black hole. S4 is here. Loda is BKB'd, so not taking any damage from that Bane, who's slowly being worked out by the Ion Shell despite being invis from the Mirana ult. Loda is going to clean up the rest of the Darkseer illusions from the wall. Now the bear giving chase. Come with me. Cannot blink away because he's constantly being Radiant spurred. Unfortunately, the arrow misses. Angry Bear wants Mania too. This is Bulldog Dota. He's about to pick up another double for Bulldog. And meanwhile, Loda picking up a kill of his own. Basically a team wipe. Bambo escapes, or did he just respawn? Either way, this looks to be a second lane of racks, and with it, no Tidehunter taking a very solid and convincing game number 1.
Right, you kind of, just looking at this, you just get the feeling that NTH knows what they're doing. They have their plan, they have their strategy. And it seems like AL's a little bit like, they're kind of unsure of themselves. It doesn't seem like these heroes like were meant to be put together. I mean, maybe if they were, like this strategy just doesn't work out against NTH's plan right here.
And like you said, I feel like they haven't been watching the tape on NTH. I mean, they gave them so many core heroes. Loda Sven, Admiral Bulldog, Lone Druid, even the Ake Keeper of the Light. I mean, I understand not just totally trying to counter your opponents. You want to play your own style. You want to maybe set the tempo yourselves, but there's got to be limits. I mean, at some point, these are just heroes that no Tidehunter are more comfortable with. They tried to ban out a few. I think the big one, did they ban out Mag or did no Tidehunter? But I think it was AL. But aside from that, I don't know. And like you said, even the Venge last pick, probably a more important hero than whatever else they banned out.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the same tournament. It's not like a different tournament where, yeah, you didn't watch the replay. If they were at Dreamhack and they knew they were going to play versus NTH, they should have kind of studied up.
Here comes BKB Loda. There is an ult for Mania.
Leave the chicken.
He cleaves the chicken down. Now Bulldog on the chase. Eternal Envy on the chase. Well, everybody is hasted. Whether it's Surge, whether it's Haste Turrets, it don't matter. Oh, man. This is the third lane of racks. This has to be it. That earlier match with We As Asian and Fnatic was a crazy turtle, but you're already down 2 lanes of racks. It's 30 minutes in, and no Tidehunter. Let's go for Roche. Why not? Just to be safe.
Yeah, that's going to be the nail in the coffin, 100%.
I feel like they could just A-move down the map at that point. Like, AFK from their computers, they'll come back, the base will be dead. Loda with a Reaver now, getting even tankier. And with all the single target, it's too many things to focus. Lone Druid now has evasion as well. They don't have an answer for that. There's been really no item progression to Yasha or Mirana. That's not going to cut it. It's AL. So let's look towards game 2, because they're going to try and jack Roshan, actually. I don't know if this is going to work, but they're about to go for it. Maybe they are. Batrider blinks in. Aegis stolen by Bambo.
Bambo Dota.
Well, he's going to pay for his insolence. There's a black hole to follow this up. Are they going to use it? Nope. And now the dust. Track Bounty Hunter is going to charge in. Marauder leaps away. Everyone just wants to run. Hey, hell. Even if they hit the 5-hero black hole, they're not going to kill them, and then the black hole ends and the bear's there, and, well, you all die.
Well, impressive steal there. I'm sure Bamboo's like, well, I won the game.
Hell yeah,
team. I got that cool player right there.
Sometimes I feel like Bambo plays for his Wodota as much as he does to win games.
Right, yeah.
He does have some epic moments, though. Unfortunately, this one can't really be converted into anything more. This is going to be 3 lanes of racks, so pretty convincing win from No Tidehunter. From the draft to the lanes to the picks to the individual team, composition, the item selection. I felt like this was just an all-around very solid effort. I mean, you said you have to be aggressive against No Tidehunter, and I don't disagree with you, but teams have tried it before, and it doesn't always work. They're going to full load it into the fountain. They want some revenge. He surged. No escape for him. Bulldog says, I've had enough. I have all the items I ever need. I've got more net worth than probably most of your team combined, and they'll thrown it. 32-minute victory. It felt like it was over by the 10 to 15-minute mark.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be hard on AL either. I just think that they need to develop as a team. They have great players, obviously. I think Freezer's doing an amazing job on his off lane, so he should definitely stick to that. I encourage them to keep going because they could be a great team. They just need to work out all their kinks.
Of course, for everyone just tuning in, I do see a lot of people asking. This is Fluff and Stuff, former captain of Complexity, now I guess the captain for A-Team. Well, we're not sure exactly how official that is yet, but of course, if you want to follow him, support him, I believe it's twitter.com/WK Brian Lee.
That's correct. I'll type it in chat.
Okay. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Fluff. Thanks for joining me, Brian. And this was only game 1, guys. This is, of course, a best out of 3. So we will be coming back with at least one more game. The winner of this match moves on to face Team Empire. And if you want to talk about aggression, something that No Tidehunter maybe have a little trouble with at times, that is a team of serious aggression, and not just in picks, but even in the laning stage. So will No Tidehunter advance in a clean toe sweep, or will AL force a game 3? We'll find out when we come back. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. This is Beyond the Summit. This is Dreamhack Winter 2012, your quarterfinals action. At least one more match, possibly 2, coming up soon.